the types of plastic apart from this?
Si huwa tunanunua plastic kutoka watu. Huwa tunanunua chupa za maji. Hizo zinaitwa PET na pia the hard plastics zenye zinaitwa HDPE. So the HDPE they are hard in nature, so they make good substances na they are quite more expensive than the PET bottle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is good information to have, and I think vile tuko hapa unasikizwa na watu wanajamii, na baadaye you'll be able to tell us wakiwa wana machupa zao, how do you get them? Yeah, baadaye. Lakini kwa sasa, tell us, how did you get into this, being that you are a young person?
Okay.
And then how does it bring wellness to the environment, to the community?
Okay. So first of all, I forgot to say, Kapapo is a partnership of 4 youths. There is Teddy here. We have another girl called Diana, Mercy, and Kevin. So we got to form Kapapo through Mombasa Plastics Prize, which was a competition funded by USAID. So that's where Kapapo was born, and we get to promote wellness and at the community level through the cleanup exercises we do. We really do a lot of beach cleanups. We really do a lot of community sensitizations. We also partner with schools. For example, we have a partnership with Maweni Primary School, whereby the school kids there collect the plastics around the school, and we come and pick them, and then we just give them a small token, just to motivate them, and this causes behavioral change to them in terms of how they view plastic waste. And also, we encourage the community to join us in these community cleanups because it's something that impacts it's something that it's impacting us, because when we come from an environment where it's untidy, where there's waste around everywhere, it also affects us mentally, because for example, the first step of maybe feeling that you are living well, you first have to declutter your house, clean it, make it tidy. Once we have a clean environment, a tidy environment, that also impacts our health directly, because we get a sense of satisfaction, and that's something that everyone should aim at maybe achieving that. Yeah.
Amazing. Have anything for him?
Yeah, siwezi kosa. So okay, we have those, umesema kuna some partners wenye huaga mnafanya nao, so kuna those school kama ni students.
Yeah,
students mostly ndo wenye huaga wanakuleta hizo plastics. Kuna any like hata community.
Engage the community.
Yeah. And then you give them a small token, something of that sort.
Yes.
So if I can ask, so how like ni challenges gani, unajua at some point unaweza pata okay, you're partnering with the community,
yeah,
to bring those plastics, but still tukitembea bado tunaona tu hapa na pale bado kuna plastics. Okay. So what do you think like ina bring to that?
Okay. So shida ya plastiki ni ngumu sana kuisha kwanza, kwa sababu plastiki ndio iko kila mahali. Tukinua maji plastiki, tukinua soda za plastiki, plastiki iko kila mahali. Inatumika kwa njia mingi sana kupakia bidhaa mingi zenye tunaziconsume kila siku. Na the first step ya kuachieve maybe zero plastic waste in our environment, maybe kwanza tubadilishe mawazo yetu kuhusu plastiki. Watu wajue ni jukumu letu kulinda mazingira yetu, na tukiwa na hiyo sense of responsibility, tujue ukiconsume kitu, hiyo taka ni responsibility yako, si responsibility ya county government ikuje ikuokotee. Ukikunywa chupa ya maji si lazima utupe tu kando ya barabara, unaweza beba ukauzia. Siku hizi kuna buyback stations mingi zimefunguliwa, wamama wana reuse plastic, wanatumia plastic kuuza sabuni, wanatumia plastic kuuza juice. That's reusing of plastic. Na hao kwanza ndo wanachangia pakubwa kupunguza adhara za plastiki kwa mazingira yetu, kwa sababu reusing of plastic is one of the ways of managing our waste well. Na maybe challenge ya community kubadilisha mawazo yake kuhusu hii shida ya plastiki, ndio maybe that's one of the point maybe we could start at that, maybe changing the behavior of our people, of the community around us, because the cleanup exercise we do ni kama azizai matunda sana, kwa sababu the same places tuna collect plastics, the same places tutapata tena plastiki tena na tena. For example, we did a cleanup at Serena Beach and we engaged the Serena Hotel hapo, and then we realized maybe you could just have some dustbins along the shore na with some educative messages, tuelezea watu kuhusu ukienda pale beach, ukimaliza kujienjoy, umeenda na soda yako, si lazima utupe hapo tu mali umekunywia, unaweza dispose vizuri, na tukianzia kwa that behavioral change, that's a step now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get to understand you now.
Yeah, I think I like that very much because there is power in knowledge.
Yeah.
Na ikiwa watu hawataelewa, then hakuna change itapatikana. And I'm very interested, unasema pia you engage watoto wa shule, unasema you engage people directly collecting the bottles, and have there been instances where they report how that has impacted them health-wise, how they're feeling now that they have somebody to, give the bottles, now that they know how to transform bottles into some sort of positive measure?
Oh yeah. So I'll give the example of Maweni Primary School, where we have been having a partnership with them for the last term before they closed school. The school kids there, siku hizi ukienda pale shule hautapata plastiki zimetupwa hapo, kwa sababu we are working with the Girl Guides there. Wakienda break, wakikunywa zile juice wanauziwa pale wakati wa break, wanajua hii plastiki wacha waende, kwa sababu kuna watu from Kapapo Solutions, they'll come and pick them na watawaletea pencils, rubber, so they feel encouraged. So, and that brings a sense of satisfaction to them. In fact, tukienda hizo plastiki wanafurahia sana, kwa sababu wanajua kazi yao wamefanya, wanakuja kutuzwa. So wameacha kuview plastic kama tu ukisha kunywa kitu iko ndani ya plastiki ni hivyo, hiyo plastiki haina maana tena. Hiyo taka iko na umuhimu wake. So for us, we use the plastic waste to generate revenue, and then we reimburse some of what we get to now the people who help us with the collection sasa. Yeah. So it brings a sense of satisfaction when ukisafisha mazingira yako na uone some benefit out of that. Now for the school kids, wanafurahia sana. That small thing wanafanya na bado wanapata kitu from that. Yeah.
I think you've said something very important, and you mentioned something that you also give something back to the community after you sell the bottles, and after you actually recycle the bottles. I saw in a clip, I think it is siwezi sema country but ni Maju, where plastic is actually very very treasured item. Mtu akimaliza kunywa kama juice ama maji hatupi, iko tu kwa mfuko somewhere, then there is a dispenser wanatumbukiza ndani, then ni kapesa kanatokea sijui ni
kweli kama ATM.
Ni ATM, na niliona imeandikwa sijui ni 50, so sijui ni sumni ama nini, but ilikuwa pesa poa. Then mtu akamake joke akasema, wewe utashinda Kenya unaomba mtu wako wa juu pesa, ujui yeye kazi ni kuguard the plastic they have to transform it into money.
Yeah.
So what you wanna hear is, after this show, members of the community, individual people have taken this very seriously. Now wanaona the real value of plastics, and we no longer have people dropping plastic everywhere. In fact, you'll even tell them your social media handles so that they literally DM you kwamba Teddy tunawawekea plastics.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
It will be so nice.
Yeah. Enyewe pia mimi nilikuwa nimesema nitakuwekea. Ukipata chupa, you'll just give me your number.
Sawa.
Yes.
Number zetu ziko.
Yes, and then I'm also interested to learn, just like the listeners, and to learn in what ways do you use technology to, do the initiatives you do?
Okay. So, as I said, we're in the recycling business,
Yes.
and we sell recycled products from plastic waste. And there are machinery involved there. So, for example, we make benches. When you buy our bench, it weighs 12 kilograms. That's 12 kilograms of plastic waste we have removed from the environment. The benches are made from plastic lumbers. The lumbers are made from an extrusion machine. So the plastics are heated. After the heating of the plastics into the molten form, it's put into a mold, and then the mold now molds the plastic, the plastic molten in its molten form into now something like a plank, like maybe a 3x2 size of timber, yeah. And so that's what we use now to make the furniture from the plastic. So it's an innovative way of now turning the waste into something that can be sold and can generate revenue. So watu wanafaa kujua taka ni mali na tusitumie takataka kutudhuru kwa mazingira yetu.
Well, speaking of kudhuru, there have been wenye ambao sasa before now hawako na hii knowledge kwamba taka ni pesa, plastics ni pesa, and they've been banning them. Yeah. Could you share madhara yake and just shout it out in terms of the how it affects the health and how it affects the general wellness, because it needs to stop generally.
Okay. So, banning plastics has its own effects. We should not ban plastics because I've just said there's a platform for you to sell the plastic waste that you are banning. First of all, when you ban plastics, it produces gases. One of the gases it produces is carbon dioxide. That's a greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas in the sense of it has greenhouse effects, promoting to global warming. That small effect of banning plastics. And also when you inhale the gas, it has carcinogenic compounds. And it will impact your health just slowly without you noticing. And there's no reason to ban plastics because you could just accumulate the plastics and sell the plastic waste and get something in return. And in fact, I also think maybe the government has a role to play in terms of how people should handle plastics, because when you tell people not to ban plastics, sometimes they don't know where to dispose the plastics. And even though we are buying the plastics from them, maybe we can't have that much of impact into the whole of the community. But the government has a role to play in terms of opening up dumping sites where people could deposit the plastic waste. And in terms of the dumping sites, people should embrace segregation of the waste at home. When you produce waste at home, maybe organic waste, you should not deposit it at the same place where you are depositing plastic waste, so that it may be easier for you to use the waste later on. For example, the organic waste you produce at home, maybe mekula chakula ikabaki, maganda ndizi, vitu kama hizo, that waste could be decomposed. There's something called composting of waste to get some manure. Even though Mombasa is an urban city, there's urban gardening and it won't cost you much. Ukiwa na chupa za plastiki hizo tu ndo utatumia tu from the manure you have gotten from the organic waste. So segregation of waste at source helps the recyclers also, because it's easier for the waste collectors to manage the waste when it's well segregated. For example, ukiwa na hazardous waste nyumbani unaziweka kando, ukiwa na plastic waste unaziweka kando, ukiwa na chakula imebaki unaweka kando. Usichanganye waste yote in one place, so that also the collectors may have an easy job in terms of helping now the community. So that's something maybe the community could embrace. And then also in terms of how maybe people handle plastic waste, we should also reduce our purchasing of commodities that are wrapped in excess or using plastic wrappings, and that will also help us manage our environment. And by reducing consuming of certain products, also the producers will know now the people are eco-conscious and they'll start wrapping their products in different ways, because if people now opt to buy products that are wrapped with less plastic, also the producers will now producing products that are inclined to what the consumers want.
Wow, amazing. Msikilizaji, hapo ndio biology chemistry yako inakutana, inagongana, kisha unajiuliza, je, umeelewa kitu? Kwa sababu amesema mengi na umesema kwamba ile organic ndio ile machakula tumeozesha, tumemwaga pale na ikatupatia manyiwa.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning a lot. And msikilizaji, remember you can share your comments on our live Facebook or YouTube. You can also get into this conversation by appreciating and just letting us know what is the plastic situation where you come from around you. Share with us what you are learning, and if you're gonna contact Teddy later because umemkusanyia a lot of plastics. And I see Mapenzi there. She's itching and smiling and she's like, yo, I wanna say something.
Yeah, but kuna by the way, I have ever interacted kwa hizi activities za beach cleanup and collect two plastics, and I can testify that it's apart from ile kutaka the environment kukua tidy, kuna ile a certain wellness like wewe mwenyewe, kwa sababu there you get to interact with people, you get to interact with different people wenye wako na vitu tu tofauti unaona.
Yeah.
And then apart from that, naona pia it's something economical, kwa sababu now Teddy, if I give you for example 1 kilogram of plastics, you get to give me something, sindio?
Ni kweli.
Kusota tutayachia chini Maureen.
Ukiwa na plastic usisote.
We are young millionaires.
Yeah.
And then I like what he said about not burning plastics. Akasema kizungu kubwa sana, carcinogenic. So msikilizaji mmoja ameenda direct to my DM anasema, hiyo sasa nini? Msikilizaji, carcinogenic kwa Kiswahili inamaanisha causing cancer. Inaweza sababisha cancer. Hiyo ni rahisi kuelewa, Teddy. Yes, and then they are saying greenhouse gases. Watu wana combine na ile greenhouse. Hapana, kuna gas inaitwa greenhouse gases, and again it is important that we know, for example, hizo amesema kama carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Siku hizi haisemi carbon dioxide.
Don't. It's carbon dioxide.
Yes, and hazardous ni vitu ambazo zinatudhuru. So again, Mapenzi, you talked about beach cleaning.
Yeah.
Pia mimi nimekuwa part of beach cleaning at a point, and you find that, to be honest, plastic waste is one of the major waste pale kwa beach.
Yeah.
And plastic managers kama Teddy tell us this is very harmful to us, and then I ask, what does it have to do with me wakati fish ndiye anaenjoy?
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think hapa kuna vitu zinajitokeza, story na blue economy and whatever, but Teddy is here to tell us more.
Yes.
Okay. So the reason we do beach cleanups and why it's important to do them, first of all, maybe tuanze na keeping the shoreline maybe clean and maybe sightly well. Maybe so this affects us basically since we are coming from Mombasa. It's a coastal city. We rely on tourism. Tourism of the backbone economic sectors of Mombasa. Keeping the ocean line clean, we encourage more tourists to visit us, because tourists won't visit Mombasa when it's dirty. And that also brings revenue to us indirectly and directly. Then something else, when you remove plastics from ocean lines, fish consume plastic waste when plastic decomposes slowly. So when it starts decomposing, sometimes fish confuse this plastic from what they eat, maybe the seagrass and all that. And these fish, they end up also in our plates. And by consuming these fish that has eaten plastics waste, we are consuming microplastics. And these microplastics have effects on us. Microplastics, they affect, I don't have a simple word. They affect our endocrine system. Endocrine system is the system of us that produces hormones, reproductive hormones. It affects now the gland that produces these hormones. For example, there is a pituitary gland in our brain that produces hormones that control us. And by consuming these microplastics, we may not know this, but it affects how we behave also from consuming the plastics. Women consume microplastics, and when it accumulates to them into their bodies, their menstrual cycles becomes irregular, and microplastics affects us. And these beach cleanups, because as Mapenzi has said, blue economy is what most of the people, local sector of Mombasa, rely on because of the fishing and relying on the ocean. So by keeping these ocean free from plastics, we are sure of whatever kind of salty fish we are going to consume, they won't be having now these microplastics, and that directly affects our health.
So how often do you practice beach cleaning and waste management is always collect plastics?
So we normally schedule one cleanup every month, but on top of that, because in every beach cleanup we network with other people, we get to be invited to many more beach cleanups. But for us as Kapapo Solutions, we schedule one beach cleanup every month, and we encourage the community to join us in these beach cleanups because, as Mapenzi said, it brings the sense of satisfaction once you do the cleanup exercises. Once you see a clean beach, you get the sense of wellness within you. And we encourage everyone to join us in these beach cleanups. We also invite Dio Radio to be part of us in these cleanup exercises. Yeah.
Wow, how amazing. And I like that we are learning something new. Mimi, I did not know about that microplastics. I did not know about the effect at all. And what? Mpaka kwa menstrual health. This goes really deeper. And msikilizaji, you can really see that this show ya leo ni bomb na ni different. Like, tunakueducate na pia we making you know where the money is. My goodness. Like from this show, personally, mimi natokanga hapa nikienda kwa millionaire because I know where all the plastics are, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is all what we are about, reaching and empowering the masses in every aspect of their life, in wellness, in their health. And did you know that economic empowerment, putting money in your hands, is also a wellness, approach? Sindio?
Yeah,
Because
Nicole.
when they have the money, how much power does it hold? And really, what does a young person like you, who is transforming plastic waste into wellness and also into money, gain?
Yeah. So I'll put that in a real life scenario. We have a CBO in Majaoni, a youth-based CBO that we engage in now the plastic waste collection around there, and we are managing waste also from the household levels, and this has brought employment to young people. We are seeing young people move away from now the ills that are destroying our society. For example, the magari that's going on.
Yes.
There's a lot of alternatives for the youth to get a livelihood now from the plastic waste because it's a resource right now. And we encourage the youths out there to be part of this change, to be part of cleaning our environment, to be part of the promotion of a cleaner environment. And we are bringing incentives into those activities. And so once young people are empowered, even the community will feel the change. The community, in fact, will be relieved when young people are engaged in meaningful activities.
Yeah, and we engaged a lot in mangrove planting. And could you take us through what are some of the benefits of engaging, again, in specifically mangrove planting in both our health, our wellness, and economically, and why should young people really even engage? Because in that place, there were young people, but not many.
Yeah. So, for example, the activity we did in Majaoni, in now planting the mangroves now. Mangroves have a direct impact in our environment. For example, as I said, there are these greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. Mangroves are carbon sinks. They absorb a lot of carbon for our environment, and now that's cleaning our environment. And there's this story of carbon credits going on right now. So the more we plant mangroves and we do it in the right way, maybe now keeping the records of the plants you have planted, we could get incentives from that, because the big polluters in the world, they are producing, because we all know Kenya is not industrialized as other countries, because so, but we are sharing the same atmosphere with the countries that are big polluters. So we are not and every country has been given a percentage of how much you can pollute. So for us, we're not polluting a lot, but we have the mangroves, we have good environment, we have a rich biodiversity, and we should tap into that. And that's a simple way of tapping into that is now the mangrove planting. And I guess those initiatives should be well structured in such a way, or in such a way that we know the impact we are creating into the environment, and we could get incentives from that because of now this story of carbon credits. But the issue of mangrove planting, it's a good carbon sink, and that's one of the major benefits of planting mangroves. And also, it protects now the rich ecosystem in the area, because mangroves have deep roots. They clean also the saline waters there. Crabs hide in the mangrove roots. So mangrove ecosystem, it's really rich, because you will find a lot of creatures there relying on the mangroves right now.
Yes, and we are interdependent, sindio?
Yeah.
If mangrove is happy, environment is happy, the fish is happy, and of course,
We are happy.
Maureen is happy, Mapenzi is happy, sindio?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an
Okay,
amazing.
so I
yeah.
have if possible, let's just go back, kwa sababu tulikuwa tumeongea something with mental health somewhere hapo. If you engage in these activities, utakuwa at least mentally stable. Okay, so do you engage with other organizations? Kwa sababu when we talk about plastics and something, kuna that aspect yenye huwaga najitolea tu direct, of which ni something to do with money, kujitokeza hiyo kwa pesa. Mtu anajua nikikuwekea tu plastic utanipatia pesa, or others wanachukulia ni kama it's like a business now you are doing. Kuna ile aspect of health yenye inajitokeza, but not as much venye waga watu wanaelewa. So do you maybe engage, ama do you partner with other organizations that talk about health, mental health, or even health overall?
So we have not really partnered with people who are conscious about health so much, because these are tricky conversations, tying plastic waste into mental health. But I guess they are dependent also, because there's that level of satisfaction of now being responsible for our environment. It brings about now that mental stability. For example, when you go into an area where it's so polluted, it's so you can't stay there without maybe having chest problems because of plastics being banned and all that. When someone who is mentally unstable lives in that place, it will be so hard for him to maybe recover vis-a-vis someone who is living in a clean environment somewhere with nice fresh air, and that's now maybe the direct impact of now a clean environment in terms of our mental health.
Okay, so
Well, yes, you've said something about in an environment that is so polluted, okay? And it just threw my mind somewhere. Tuko kwa rainy season right now. And you also mentioned before that you cannot clean everywhere at the same time. So I want you to study the plastic recycler, okay, to share this scenario of a perfect polluted environment with plastics, being that it is a rainy season, and what that specifically, why that is a danger specifically during this season.
Yeah. So during this rainy season, it has come in at a time maybe we have not even sorted now the menace that we are facing right now. And in an environment where there are a lot of plastic waste during the rainy season, and the fact that it's a coastal city near the ocean, these plastics get washed away into the ocean, most of them. Because, for example, now the area that we did the tree planting called Majauni, there's there's ocean line there passing there. So once you go there during now this rainy season, you'll be surprised most of these plastic waste that was lying in the landfills, they have been washed away into the ocean down there. And also these plastics also, they also block our drainage systems. And the drainage system that we have right now, they're just poor. The infrastructure is so low. And maybe if we had better infrastructure in terms of the drainage systems, maybe the plastic bottles won't be so much of a problem. But right now, we have maybe now the unattended tunnels. They get blocked by these waste, and now the flooding starts. That's where waterborne diseases arise. Cholera starts, and then now everyone starts, diarrheaing and going to the hospital.
And speaking of those health problems, the choleras, the diarrheas, and definitely it will be very bad for people because, again, you see the situation health-wise. Doctors wameenda strike. So the best shot here we have is kila mtu achukue jukumu lake to rid the environment of plastics. Ili tunasemanga prevention is better than cure. And I've just realized also that the collection of plastics vile zimekusanyika, when it rains, it collects water, sindio?
Yeah.
And then we have those our big fat sisters called mosquitoes that suck our blood properly, and they get to breed hapo kwa plastics that have collected water. So msikilizaji, plastic that is near you outside just idle is your enemy, because it will end up, the effects will end up landing you to hospitali na utapata daktari sahi wameenda strike. So collect them and find Kapako, kina Teddy.
Kapako Solutions will be there to buy the plastics.
I think we have to be very much responsible in this, kwa sababu truth be told, utaweza pata kuna tuseme tu kama unajua siku hizi ni kama tu ni plots. So plots wako na kama a certain dumping site somewhere. So unaweza pata they have that dumping site. Now that just because haiko karibu na nyumba, wana feel like kama ni mosquitoes azizi tupata. After all tuligenywa neti juzi. So like they think it has no impact to their health. But thank God we Teddy ametuambia how that ina impact our health. So I think to our listeners, we have a lot to do for the sake of our health. Apart from kufikiria venye tutapata pesa, hatutapata pesa kama we are not healthy, kwa sababu maybe pesa yenye tutapata tutaimalizia hospitali.
Yes, and speaking of the health, I just want to remind you that Teddy has educated us that plastic waste, when you burn them, when you collect them, when they're idle, kwa mtaani hapo, kwanza they will be causing carcinogenic, kizungu. They'll cause cancer if you burn them. And I know, kuna watu wanasema, silipi pesa takataka, afadhali niende nichome usiku. My friend, wewe ndio umesimama hapo, una inhale hizo moshi na cancer kana mezea mahali tu after a very long period of time na hautajua. Na pia uko beach unajibamba, umepata beach imekliniwa vizuri na kina Teddy, lakini wewe tu umeona tu uamue drop chupa hapo, itajipata kwa fish na ita affect pia the health of women later because of hiyo inaitwa microplastic fish akikula. Unaelewa? And they have also said that other problems like the malaria, now we have the diarrhea. So we have so much to lose if we don't take plastic waste management seriously in our environment. And of course, could you share, before we finish, could you share your social media handles?
So all the listeners could follow us through our social media platforms. We're called Kapapo Solutions with a C, CAPAPO, on all our social media platforms, Kapapo Solutions. And maybe just to add something, I guess people will now be obligated to be responsible because of maybe the policies that the government is trying to pass. For example, now there is the waste management policy. It's an act enacted on 2022. that every household in Mombasa will be liable to pay a certain amount of money to manage its waste, because waste produced by us, it's our responsibility to manage it. So I guess as now residents of Mombasa, we should embrace such such acts and policies from the authorities, so because they help us. So we'll be needed to pay a certain token so that we'll be able to manage the waste well.
Yeah, and being Kenyans, anything that wants me to pay, first naiona ni gharama inaleta. But then if we are paying for, good management to get good health, then it is worth it. And I remember what you said, that managing that waste correctly.
Yeah.
Collecting that one bottle umekuwa ukiona unachapa tu kama football, ikienda ipotee ikuachie njia. Just collecting it na uweke mahali pamoja, zijae hapo, then upate recyclers, itakusaidia mentally, you feel good. Umewahi fanya kitu kizuri mpaka unasikia mtu anafaa kukuona, kukujua, kukupatia zawadi fulani. Hivyo ndio ina feel. Na hiyo ni wellness na inakusaidia.
Yeah.
Ama ni aje mapenzi?
Ndivyo. Actually mimi I have learned a lot. Hata sina la kusema, lakini that's I feel like I'm very much motivated now that mimi by then nimekuwa na hiyo tabia ya kuona ninaipiga tu. Ninaipiga ina fly kwenda huko. Lakini kuanzia leo mimi na kapapo nitakuwa naeka plastics.
Wow, I think that is very good feedback, because hapa tuko kuelimishana, and I know mapenzi hayuko peke yake. Mimi siwezi sema hivyo live, lakini wacha nikwambie, many people are watching and they are like saying yo. Kwa hivyo instead of kuifanya football, I can actually pick it hata kama sio yangu. Msikilizaji, it doesn't have to be yours. Okay? Kuna nchi plastic zinang'ang'aniwa. Personally, I've been out of Kenya once. Usiulize niko wapi, pengine
nilishout.
We unajua hata kwenda huku kwa yeah, hata ukipita border, you've been out of Kenya. Huko plastic zilikuwa zinang'ang'aniwa mpaka mtani. Mtu akiona unaona mtu anakuja mbio, nadhani wewe unakimbizwa. Ukikimbia step 2 ni plastic alikuwa anakujia. I want to see Kenya like that. Okay? How long do you think it will take to get rid of plastic mtaani kabisa?
Maybe I don't know the year, but it will take us taking the initiative and the government being serious about it, because even if people are responsible, we lack the infrastructure. For example, dumping sites in Mombasa, we only know of Kibarani and here in
Mwakirunge.
Oh, yeah.
We no longer dump in Bakarani.
Yeah, it's
Kibarani. It's Kibarani.
We no longer dump in Kibarani.
Yeah,
we dump at Mwakirunge.
That's true.
Yes.
Point is, there are limited dumping sites around us.
Yes.
And maybe the government needs to do something about that so that people may manage the waste well. Because if you tell them not to ban, they don't have a place to dispose this waste. Where will they take this waste? So maybe the government maybe could maybe now do something about that, because it's something affecting us.
Apart from the government, kuna the private sectors zenye watu wanakwanga wanasema unalipa 30, uchafu zinakuja zinachukuliwa. So apart from this information going to the government, I feel like it should also go to the private people ama private organizations zenye zina deal na hizo mauchafu, kwa sababu most of them unapata unakuja unachukua then wanapeleka tu somewhere, hata wanaweza tu ziacha barabarani. That is what we have been seeing. So as we talk to the government, we also have that mandate to talk to those people, the private sectors, also to take this seriously and take it in considerations so that we can have that zero plastics in our environment.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would like to share that you get many people following and they're liking the talk, and apparently I didn't know how much people like to see plastics out of the environment. So you get Rashid Khan, who is like saying, I like the conversation, and he's also a conservationist, and is feeling like, yes, we should be having such kind of conversations because it also spreads awareness on behavior change. and importance. Like you said, you don't know when it will end, but continuous sensitization awareness will get people knowing. So slowly by slowly, we'll find Mombasa City, like, which is the cleanest city in the world. Anyone who
The
knows?
world city ama
Wapi?
city ama country.
Country.
Is it not Rwanda?
You know of Kigali being clean.
So we want to see Mombasa being like Kigali in the next X years. But that starts now with initiatives like this, and also sisi wenyewe, because tukisema watu wafanye, watu ni nani? Watu ni wewe. Na we want to insist that there is a positive feedback, there is a positive thing you get. You are healthy, and then, as they say, health is wealth. Okay, your health is wealth, number one. And here clearly unapewa opportunity ya kwamba if you are able to recycle these plastics, you are able to give it to people who recycle it, like a Kapapo, then imagine they even give you money for it. So you want to say something about is it a public knowledge you share on how much you pay some people wakikupatia their plastic?
Yeah, we can share that.
Good, please go ahead.
Ukileta chupa za maji kilo moja tutanunua kwa shilingi 10, na hizi plastiki ngumu kama viti, vibu vya maji hivi 20 liters, hiyo unanunuliwa na shilingi 20.
So hizo 20 hizo za maji hizo. 1 kg ni kama ni ngapi? Like ni chupa ngapi?
Sasa unajua kuna chupa kubwa za maji, kuna chupa ndogo za maji. So na kilo moja ya chupa za maji si chupa kidogo, labda tu maybe gunia kama moja inaweza fikisha hata kilo.
Okay.
Wow, amazing. Sikilizaji, I am one of the people smiling now because
It's money.
it's money, and I have actually been collecting bottles. I'm one person that naweza toka Nairobi na bottle yangu nimemalizia maji kwa bag. So right now as we talk, in my place, I have over 300 bottles.
Wow.
And friends come and they tell me, are you crazy? It is time to throw these things. I'm like, to throw where? I wouldn't know how to start. So yesterday I had a friend over. She was like, yo, it is time to throw these things. I'm like, where? I don't even know how to start. So kumbe money has been calling me all these 3 years.
Nando
See
you.
God. Anyway, sikilizaji, we have very great feedback from the comment section, where we have Rajab Rashid showing all the love. It means he likes the conversation too much. It is beneficial, and he also shares a like. We have Saif Jira saying good work. This is great feedback because people are following and they are making sure that they appreciate the work you do, and they appreciate that there is also health and economic benefit into what you do. And we have Linda say, agree with Teddy, plastic is very dangerous when misused. And yes, thank you so much, Linda, for that amazing feedback. And this is to you as well, to kindly be environment conscious, to ensure that you are responsible for the clean, safe environment that you live in. Do you have any final words for someone listening to you?
Oh yeah. So maybe I will tell the listeners today that plastic waste is not just waste. It will be a resource for us, and let's take the initiative to clean our environment. Start with where you live and educate someone who has not listened to the show today about how plastic waste is destroying our environment, and let's take the initiative to clean Mombasa.
Great. Mapenzi, any final comments?
I would like to tell my people, including myself, we have to be responsible. We have to. If we don't have to, it's a must for us to be responsible. Kwa sababu, we all need that. Sote tunataka tujipate tukiwa tuko healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also want to tell you, msikilizaji, it has been a great time having you. Responsibility as charity, tunasema, starts with you. Therefore, keep where you are safe, plastic free, love yourself, enjoy yourself, and just have fun. Asante sana. Until next time, that was our time here at the Health Show with me, Maureen Magak, and here with Mapenzi.
Yeah.
See you until next time.